Okay, good evening to one and all. Kindly give me a confirmation if you guys can hear me. Good evening to one and all. Kindly give me a confirmation if you guys can hear me. Am I audible to all of you? Yes or no? Come on, tell me. Am I audible to all of you? Yes or no? Come on, guys. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So you guys can hear me clearly, right? And give me a confirmation if my screen is visible to all of you. Is my screen is visible to all of you perfectly? Yes or no? Come on, come on, come on. Tell me. Is my screen is visible to all of you? Perfect. Awesome. So welcome to day 3 for the machine learning bootcamp where we are intending to learn about deployment of a machine learning model on the cloud, right? So far we have talked about Python. In the first day and the second day, we have to learn what is Python. We have seen the anatomy of Python. Apart from that, we have done certain coding as well. And the coding, we have talked about how exactly data works, what are the types of data, and we have also talked about the different data structure that Python contains. Right now, if you guys tell me what are two data structure we have covered so far. What are the two data structure that we have covered so far? Let's see if you guys know about that or not. Come on. What were the two data structure? Yes, indeed. It was list and tuple. Exactly. It was list and tuple. And if I ask you among list and tuple, which of them is mutable? Which of them is mutable among list and tuple? Come on. Which of them is mutable among list and tuple? List, exactly. So yesterday we have talked about list and we have seen that whenever you put data between the square bracket, it is called as list, right? And list is mutable. When we use this word mutable, it means changeable. That means you can easily change the list afterward as well, right? At the first instance, you are creating a list, and even though after creating a list, you can change the list at any point of time. However, this is not the case in the when we talk about tuple, right? So tuple says that I am going to you if you want to define it, you will going to define it at the starting point. After that, changing the value of tuple is way impossible because there is no other methods in tuple that supports the updation part. However, if you want to do this, you can use the concept of typecasting to change the tuple into a list, then change the value, then change it back to tuple, right? But if you talk about individually, tuple doesn't support the immutability, right? Is this clear? Okay, perfect. Now we are going to talk about the third data structure. Okay, that is your set. That is your set. Okay, so this set is way more similar to the set that you have learned during your school time, 11th or 12th, right? Or might be in 10th, you might have heard about, right? So set says that the data or the data should be included within the curly braces. Now see, everything is now a game of braces and brackets. Data will remain be the same. These braces and bracket will going to define which data structure are you going to use. If you are using the square bracket, you are using the list. If you are using the round bracket, that means you are using the tuple. And if you are using the curly braces or curly bracket, you are using these sets. Okay. So now the unique thing about set is that set doesn't allow the duplicate values. That means whatsoever data you are putting in a set, right? So set says that it will only going to take the unique values. Set will only going to take the unique values, right? Likewise, in list and tuple, you can have duplicate values, or a number or an element can have multiple occurrences, right? But in set, it is not possible. You will be having a single element, and it should not repeat once, thrice, or so on and so forth. So let's see how you can do that. For an example, let me copy it the same thing. Let me create an example for you guys. Let's say list underscore where is equals to 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2 1, right? Let me copy this, paste this over here, paste this over here. So let's change this to tuple, and let's change this to your set. Okay, so we're going to call this as a tuple, and we're going to call this as a set, right? Now let's run this. Now let's see what will be the output of all these three variables. Now see, over here there are certain values repeating, right? So in the case of list says that it allows the repeatancy, right? It allows the repeating manner, it allows the occurrence of the elements. So if you are going to run this, over here you can see it is as it is as it is, the way we have created the set in the first manner, right? We have the elements as 1 2 1 2 repeating multiple times. Similarly, if you go on to the tuple, you will going to see none of the variable elements has been changed, right? It's a request that if your screen is not visible, kindly change your settings to the higher settings. Okay, if the screen is not visible, kindly change the setting to the higher setting. It will be perfectly fine for you guys. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Come on guys, give me a confirmation please. Is this clear to all of you? Is this clear to all of you? Yes or no? Come on. Perfect. So now over here, over here we can see there is no change in the list and this tuple, right? However, now if we are going to run the set underscore where, now you're going to see we are only having 4 elements. But in the initial phase, we have defined multiple elements, but at the end, set has only considered 4 elements, because what happened is when the interpreter starts to collect the elements into a set, it checks whether this element one, whether this element one has already been occurred or not. If it isn't, then it will be a part of a set. So it will going to go till here, and as soon as interpreter reaches over here, it will going to verify whether one has already been occurred in the set. When it says that yes, it has already been occurred, that means this is a repeated value, or this is the next occurrence or the upcoming occurrence for the element that has already been existed. So what it will going to do, it will going to ignore it. Then again, it will go on and on and on and ignore all this value. So you use sets whenever you want to work with the unique data or unique elements, right? This is also an interview question. In interview, they can give you that we are giving you a list, right? And in this list, there are multiple elements, and the interviewer might gonna ask you that you need to only sort, you need to make some changes in this list so that it will only going to contain unique value. And now many a time people, students get confused and they uses for loops and if and else statement to do so. But it is very simple. You can convert the list into a set, right? And as soon as it can get converted into a set, what will going to happen, it will easily going to, it has the manner to accept only the unique values. When it is done, then you can convert the set back to the list, and that's how you can go ahead with that. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Come on guys, is this clear or not? Okay, are you guys getting this? Perfect. So now if you see, these three are the data structures, and the motive of all these three is to store multiple items or elements in a single variable. Okay, so you can use either of them to store your values and all that. And similarly, in the set as well, you have different methods. You have union, intersection, difference, and all that. But due to the time constant, we are not going to discuss about that. You can go on and you can search for that and can study it by yourself as well, right? Now let's move on to the next data structure. Okay, now we are going to talk about the next data structure, that is our dictionary. That is our dictionary. Okay, so over here as well, uh, you will be using the curly braces. Okay, okay, is this clear? Okay, so now in a dictionary the data follows a certain pattern. In a dictionary the data follows a certain pattern, and that pattern is a key value pair. Is a key value pair, right? Generally, if we talk about the dictionary that we have in a real world, let's suppose we are talking about the Oxford dictionary, right? Now in the Oxford dictionary, if you see the pattern, they will going to have the pattern like this. First of all, you will going to have a word, right? And corresponding to your word you will be have a meaning. This is how the Oxford dictionary works. Yes or no? Yes or no? This is a pattern that we can easily see in any kind of dictionary, right? Yes or no? Getting this or not? Right? And the another rule, another pattern we can easily see that the word, we use the dictionary to find the meaning of the word, not the word of the meaning. We use the dictionary to find the meaning of the word, not the word of the meaning. Right? You will going to use a dictionary to find the meaning of the word pencil, but you will never going to use a dictionary to find the word that is having the meaning graphite wooden structures and all that, right? Because it will going to consume a lot of more time, right? So this is another thing, and another thing is that in a dictionary, whenever you use a dictionary, you will going to find out these words are been arranged in the alphabetical order. These words will be arranged in the alphabetical order. It will never going to happen that in the first page itself you will be getting a word that starts with the letter P or Q, right? In the first page you will be going to get all the words that are starting with the letter A and then the corresponding to that, right? So that means in a dictionary all the elements are play, all the elements focused in a particular order. They are arranged in a particular order, right? Now earlier what happened is that in the earlier release, when we talk about the Python, right? So in Python version 3.6 or earlier, this dictionary used to be unordered. This dictionary used to be unordered. That means if you're defining a dictionary at any pace, if you're defining a word, let's say pencil, and it has a meaning, and the another word is your, let's say, apple. So generally, apple has to come at the beginning, right? But what happened is during the Python version 3.6 or earlier, since the dictionary was unordered, so we doesn't have any change in the dictionary. However, however, the version of Python that is coming after 3.7 or after 3.7 has set it the dictionary as ordered. Has set the dictionary as ordered, right? Now over here, this word we're going to consider as key, and we call this meaning as a, so not key pair, it should be key value, right? So we consider the word as key and the meaning as value. So dictionary will going to focus on key and value pair. Is this clear? Is this clear? Is this clear, everyone? Yes or no? Okay, perfect. So now let's see how to create a dictionary. So again, it will be our dictionary. What was the name that we given? Dictionary variable. Okay, it should be enclosed within the curly braces, right? Now it should follow a key value pair. So let me show you. Let's say we have pencil. Okay, and now you have to provide the value. Let's say a wooden object containing the graphite. Contain the graphite. Let's say, right? Let's, and the second should be apple, a fruit. Okay, so now this is when I'm initializing a dictionary with some data. I am putting pencil, I am putting the pencil at the top, and after that I'm defining apple, right? But since if you check the version of this Python, let's check the version of this Python. You can see it is 3.7.13, right? And Python in the dictionary, Python dictionary is ordered in this version, right? So now if I print dictionary variable of that dictionary, you will going to see over here I am having a pencil, and over here I am having an apple. Now this pencil and this apple is acting as your key, and this entire value is acting as your value, right? So that means with the help of each key you can easily refer to the value, right? For an example, if I say I want to find the meaning of the word apple, so what you're going to do, you will going to first call the variable, then inside this variable you will going to define the key. So over here the key is apple. So now if I'm going to run this, you will going to see it will going to print out the value, that is a fruit. Okay, similarly if you have a multiple dictionary and all that so on and so forth, you can easily try to find out the value. Is this clear? Is this clear everyone? Yes or no? Is this clear? Yes or no? Okay, now this is about the data structures. Okay, this is all about the data structures, and there are multiple things that you need to learn about data structures. There are several things you can easily go on and check all that. And also a dictionary also doesn't allow the duplicacy. Dictionary also doesn't allow the duplicacy. That means if you are, presenting several words that are having the same characters including that, it will not going to allow that. It will simply going to ignore that, because in a dictionary you will never going to find out two words, or you will not never going to find out the two same words, right? It will never going to happen a word is repeating twice. Yes or no? If a word has a different meaning, how exactly dictionary will going to follow? It will going to say this is your first meaning like this. They will going to present a meaning. Then they will going to present the second meaning. This is how it will going to do. But it will never going to happen. You will going to have a word and the first meaning, then again the same word and with the different meaning. This is not the case how the dictionary works, right? Similarly in Python itself, whenever you are defining a dictionary, it will going to make sure that each word or each key should be unique, and it will not going to allow the duplicacy. Is this clear everyone? Is this clear everyone? Yes or no? Is this clear everyone? Yes or no? Come on, tell me. Perfect. So now we are going to talk about the conditional statements. Now we are going to talk about the conditional statements, right? So now as this name suggests, over here there will be two things. One is your condition, and based on that condition you will going to have some statements, right? One thing it will be your conditions, and another thing it will be your statement, and based on the condition you will going to specify which statement you should going to print out. Is this clear? Is this clear? Perfect. Now see how exactly we use a conditional statement in our real life. In our real life, how we use this conditional statement. Let's say for an example, it is your birthday. Right? Let's suppose it is your birthday, and in your birthday, you're expecting that your parents will going to give you some, no, some amount, some, let's say some money as your birthday present, right? So you have taken an assumption that if I'll be getting 1,000 rupees, if I'll be getting 1,000 rupees, then I'm going to purchase, let's say, remote control car, right? So the scenario over here is it is your birthday, and you know that your parents will going to give you some present, right? in a monetary form on the token of money, and you are already expecting it that if they will going to give you 1,000 rupees, you will going to purchase an RC car, right? Next statement you say that if they give you, let's say if they give you more than 1,000 rupees, then you will going to purchase an RC car, right? And again you states that if they give you some money that is between 500 to 1,000, then you will going to purchase let's say Hulk toy. Okay, you will going to purchase a Hulk toy, right? And again you say that if they will going to give you amount between 100 to 500, you will going to purchase a Beyblade. You will going to purchase a Beyblade, right? And next you say that if they will going to give you anything from, let's say, 1 rupees to, let's say 100 rupees, you will going to buy some toffees. Okay, you are going to purchase some toffees. Otherwise, if they are not going to give you anything, then what you are going to do? You will going to cry. You will going to cry. Is this statement clear to all of you? Is this statement clear to all of you? Is this statement clear to all of you? Yes or no? Kindly give me a confirmation, please. Okay. Now see, this is how we make a conditional statement in a real life, right? This is how we make that if something happens, if over here, this part, if this is a condition, that if this condition is satisfying, if this condition is true, then you will going to perform some action. This action is known as a statement. This is known as a statement, right? And this is known as a condition. Similarly over here, this is condition. If you will be getting amount between 500 to 1,000, then you will going to perform this action, right? This is known as a statement. So this is how we make a conditional statement in our real life. And now if we want to convert this statement in a real life world example to a Python statement, so over here you can see for every line to start the conditional statement in our real life, we use the word if. We use the word if. Yes. And then we have another word as otherwise. Then we have another word that is otherwise. That means if none of the condition is true, then do this, right? So over here in Python, we do have if to start a condition, and otherwise is known as else in Python. Otherwise is known as else in Python. That if and none of the condition is getting true or none of the condition is satisfying, then use the else or otherwise perform anything, right? Now another thing is elif. Elif, you use elif when you work with multiple conditions. When you work with multiple condition, over here you can see we have multiple condition. This is your first condition, this is your second condition, this is your third condition and fourth condition, right? So over here you are working with multiple condition. Whenever you are working with a multiple condition, the first condition will always going to start with the if keyword. However, that any other condition after the first condition will going to start with the elif. Okay, let's see how to convert this. Let's say we define a variable as present. We define, or not a present, let's say a gift. Okay, that will be easy. This gift could be anything. We are talking about in a terms of monetary. This gift money could be anything, right? Then we have to start a condition. So we say if this money is more than 1,000, so we are going to say if the gift is greater than 1,000, right? Greater than, I believe that everyone knows what is greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. Yes or no? Yes or no? Everyone knows about that. Greater sign, lesser sign, and all that. Okay. So we say that if your gift or if the value of this gift variable is greater than 1,000, then what you are going to do? Let's say you are going to purchase an RC car. RC car. Okay, now you have to perform another condition. So always the first condition will going to have the keyword of if. Now since you have multiple condition, you are going to use the keyword as elif. Now it says that if your gift is between 500 to 1000 rupees, right? If it is between to 500 to 1000 rupees, so we are going to, how we are going to say, if your gift, if your gift is greater than equal to 500, right? If your gift is greater than 500, equal to 500, and at the same time, if your gift is less than equal to, not less than, yeah, less than 1000. If it is less than 1000, then you will going to print, let's say, Hulk toy. Okay, is this statement clear to all of you? Right, now again, the second part, you will going to use if gift. Over here it says it should be greater than 100, right? So we're going to say greater than equal to 100, and gift should be, gift should be less than, it should be less than 500. Then what you are going to do, you are going to purchase a Beyblade. Okay, then again you have another condition over here, so you will going to say elif gift is greater than equal to 1 rupee, right? And at the same time gift is less than 100. So what you are going to do, you are going to purchase some toffees. Okay, now you say otherwise, and we have seen that the alternate version of otherwise is elif. So we're going to say elif. Elif me, sorry, not elif. Else means that if none of the condition, if none of the condition is true, okay, if none of the condition is true, then perform this action. So we are going to say else print cry. This is how we have converted the real life example into the Pythonic conditional statement, right? Now let's copy this. Let's copy this entirely. Come to our code. Let me paste this. Control X. Let's say gift. Okay. So let's say our gift amount is somewhere around 1200. So what do you think will be the output? Come on. What do you think will going to be the output? If the value of the variable gift is 1200, what do you think will going to be the output? Okay, many people are saying it should be an RC car. Let's run this and see. It's an RC car. And see, Python is very easy. In Python, you don't need to define, let's say, in an opening bracket and closing bracket, and then you have to define like this. No, it is very easy. You will be having a statement and you will be having a conditional statement. You can write this as like this as well. Okay, you can write this like this as well. Okay, for the sake of simplicity, I'm writing like this. Okay, it's an RC car. How about now? What will be the output? What will be the output? Come on. What do you think will going to be the output? Hulk toy. Okay, let's check this out. Let me run this. Perfect. It's a Hulk toy. Right. Now, if I say 99, if I say I got 99, then what do you think will going to be the output? Now, what do you think will going to be the output? Anyone? Okay, people are saying toffees. Okay, let's see this. Oh, sorry, I have to run this one. Okay, let's run this. Why it is Hulk toy? Let me check this. This is your 99, and I believe gift. Okay, if your value is greater than 500 and at the same time your value is greater than, oh sorry, for this and it should be and. Perfect. Okay, let's run this. Perfect. It is toffee. That was a bitwise and operator. Okay, that was a bitwise and operator. This is toffees, right? Let's say if you're not getting anything, if we are not getting anything, if my parents says that no, this time, let's say we should not give him anything, right? If I'm getting zero, then what do you think will going to be the output? Then what do you think will going to be the output? Okay, let's see this. I am going to cry, right? Because what happened, interpreter will going to check each condition, because statement will only going to occur when the condition is true, right? If the condition is not true, the statement will not going to occur, right? So as soon as the interpreter checks this statement, an interpreter checks whether it's a true or false. If it is true, then only interpreter will going to go forward, otherwise interpreter will going to jump on to the next line, right? And since none of these condition is true, that's why we are getting anything that is printed in the otherwise section, right? And this is similar to you guys as well. Let's say those who are saying that I want attendance, what are the criteria of getting an attendance, right? So we have already talked about how to get an attendance, so on and so forth. Let's understand this with the help of conditional statement. So let me declare two variables. One is your attendance. Let's say uh, 7 days attendance is equal to, and let's say the second variable is your project submission. Okay, project submission. Okay, so let's write a conditional statement that if you have all the 7 days attendance, right, and if you have submitted the project, then only you will be getting the attendance, then certificates. Okay, certificates. Otherwise no certificate. And let me do the same thing here. Perfect. Right, now let's see over here. If you are having all the 7 day attendance but you haven't submitted your project, okay, now what do you think will going to be the output? Now what do you think, will you be getting the certificate or not? Tell me, will you be getting the certificate or not? If you have all the days attendance but you don't have some, but you haven't submitted the project, will you be getting the certificate? Come on, tell me. Okay, so let's see. You will not be getting any certificate. Let me correct this. You will not be getting any certificate, right? Now let's say you say that I don't have 7 days attendance but I have submitted the project. But I don't have all the days attendance. Will I be getting the certificate? Yes or no? Come on. Will I be getting the certificate? Yes or no? Come on, tell me. In this case, let's see what Python says. Python says no, you won't be getting any certificate in this case scenario, right? The third scenario is that some says that I have attended all the session, all the 7 day session, and I have 100% attendance, and at the same time I have submitted the project as well. Now what do you think? Will that guy will going to get the certificate or not? Yes or no? Is this clear? Come on, tell me. Okay, so let's run this and see. You will be getting the certificate if you satisfy this condition. Now I believe with the help of this example, all the doubt of getting the certification has been cleared. Yes or no? Right? And I believe that now no one will going to ask us that how to get a certificate and all that. right? So this is a scenario how you can implement the conditional statement in a Python. Is this concept clear to all of you? Is this concept clear to all of you? Yes or no? Come on, tell me. Is this concept clear to all of you? Yes or no? Come on, give me a confirmation, please. No, certificate will only be given to those students who will going to follow this criteria. We are not going to provide the certificate for all the participants. Okay, perfect. Over here, this is an example of a nested loop. Okay, over here, this is an example of a nested loop. If you see, this is a not a nested loop, a nested conditional statement. Okay, so over here you can see this is a conditional statement inside a conditional statement. If a conditional statement is inside a conditional statement, that is known as a nested conditional statement. The word nested is being used, right? In the loop as well, if you're using a loop inside a loop, you will going to call this as a nested loop. Okay, shall we move on to the next topic? Shall we move on to the next topic? Yes or no? Kindly give me a confirmation, please. Okay. Already told you why I'm using this else conditions twice. This is a single condition, and then inside this condition, you are having this condition. This is the format of nested loop, nested conditional statement. Okay. Perfect. So let's move on to the next topic. That is your loop. We are going to talk about loops. Okay. In Python, we have two kind of loops. One is your for loop, and another is your while loop. Okay, one is your for loop, another is your while loop. In many other language, you might see that there is one more loop known as do while. There is one more loop known as do while. But in Python, we only have two loops. That is your for loop, and another is your while loop. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Okay. Perfect. Now, what exactly is the concept of loop is? Loop is something that repeat itself. Okay. Loop is something that repeats itself. Right. If I talk you for an example, let's say our yearly calendar starts with Jan 1st, right? And ends with December 31st. Yes or no? Our yearly calendar, it doesn't matter which year calendar you will going to see, you will always going to talk see that the calendar whichever year you are talking about, it will going to start with January 1st and will going to end with December 31st. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, so now see, after December 31st, after December 31st, what will going to happen? After December 31st, again you will be getting January 1st. Yes or no? Again you will be getting January 1st. Then again similarly January 2nd, 3rd, 4th till the December 31st. And again it will going to repeat. Now see, this is something that is repeating itself. This is something that is repeating itself within a given time frame. So you can say we guys are also stuck in a kind of a loop. That means after 1 year gets completed, again the same thing occur over and over again. Is this clear? Is this clear? Right? Similarly, like if we say that generally in a day, in the morning you will going to the sun will going to rise, and in the evening sun will going to set. In the morning sun will going to rise, and in the evening sun will going to set. And this is the nature. It doesn't matter whatsoever date we are talking about, this pattern will be followed in each day. This pattern will be followed in each day, right? Whether it will be your 31st of let's say January, or it will be your 12th of November. Every day In the morning sun will going to rise, and in the evening sun will going to set. This is a loop. That means it will going to go on and on and on, right? That is what known as a loop concept in Python. Whenever you're working in a case where you want to repeat something, we will definitely going to use the loop concept. For an example, let's say I have written a message, hello world. I have written a message, hello world. Or let me give you a real life example. Let's say I give you a real life example, and definitely you all guys can relate to this. Let's go back to several years back when we were used to in a school, right? In a school time, what happened is whenever our teacher catches us while talking with our friends, right? They tell us that now you have to write the something 100 times. Now you have to write that I will not going to talk in class 100 times. Can everyone relate to this? Everyone relate to this? Our teachers, whenever our teacher catches us, while talking to our friends and all that, they always tells us that you need to write, I will not, I will not talk in class, let's say 1,000 times. Yes or no? I will not talk in class 1,000 times. Right? Now the one scenario is you can write I will not talk in class once and tell the teacher that okay, read it 100 times, read it 1,000 times, right? In that case, if you're reading this 1,000 times, then it can be assumed that yeah, I have written 1,000 times. There's no point of me to write this. Yes or no? Yes or no? Right? But if suppose your teacher asks you to do the same thing, what you will going to do? You will going to use the loop. You will going to say, I'm only going to write once, read it 1,000 times. Right? Similarly, we are going to use the loop to repeat the data or repeat the value or repeat anything multiple times. In that case, we use the loop, and we have two methods to do that. One is your for loop and another is your while loop. Is the concept of loop clear to all of you? Yes or no? Kindly give me a confirmation, please. Is this clear to all of you? Yes or no? Okay. Perfect. Now let's talk about if we have for loop and if we have while loop in Python, then which loop to use in which situation? What exactly is the difference between these two loop and when to use which loop? We should having this part as well, right? We should having this knowledge as well. Okay. So let me give you an example. Let's say this is a ground. This is a ground. Over here, you are having an athlete. This is a starting point, and when we talk about a circular ground or an elliptical ground, the starting point and the ending point is remain be the same. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. So we are having an athlete over here, and now in the first scenario, when we talk about the for loop, we are telling this athlete that hey, you need to take approximately 10 lap of this ground. You need to take 10 lap of this ground. That means you have to take 10 rounds, or you have to take 10 rounds of this ground. That means this will going to be a first round, then this will going to be your second round, and so on and so forth, right? In such condition where you provide the loop that how much time it has to run, okay, the scenario wherever you will going to tell the loop how much time you want it to run, we always use for loop. When you know how many times your loop will going to run or how many times you will going to run your loop, in that case you are going to use the for loops. Okay, let's take the second scenario. Second scenario states you are having the athlete, right? And you are telling your athlete that take the lap of this ground until and unless you get tired. Until and unless you get tired, keep continue to take the round. It might happen you will be getting tired in third lap as well. You will be getting tired in fourth lap as well. You will be getting tired in five lap as well, right? So over here, you are not specifying that how many times you have to run. You are providing a condition. You are providing a condition over here that if this condition, if you reach to this condition, then only try to stop. Otherwise, go on and on and on and on. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear? Is this clear? Right? In this case, we uses the while loop. In this case, we uses the while loop where we don't define the loop that how many times it has to run, but we define a condition based on which the loop will going to stop. Okay. If I have to give you an example, you guys must have. Can you guys tell me from which movie this scene has taken from? Can you guys tell me from which movie this scene has been taken from? Anyone? Can you guys tell me from which movie this scene has been taken from? Come on. Doctor Strange. Exactly. This movie has been taken from Doctor Strange. Whosoever have watched Doctor Strange, you guys will easily going to relate to the topic loop. Now, if I have to summarize this scenario, right? What is happening is Doctor Strange was going to Dormammu to bargain, right? But before going on to Dormammu, what he has done is he has captured Dormammu in a time loop. He has captured the Dormammu in a time loop. So what was happening? Every time the same scenario was happening. Every time the same scenario was happening. Doctor Strange was coming before the Dormammu. Dormammu killed Doctor Strange. And as soon as it kills, again the same scenario goes on and on and on. That is known as a loop. Okay, what kind of loop was that? That was a time loop, right? But something that goes on and on and on and repeat itself, it is known as a loop. I hope now it is clear to all of you. Now it is clear to all of you what is a loop. Yes or no? Yes or no? Is this clear or not? Is this clear or not? Yes or no? Come on. Perfect. Now let's see the implementation of loops. So over here, this whenever you are using the conditional statement, you tell the interpreter by using the keyword if that from here we are starting the conditional statement. Okay, I've already told you the difference between for loop and while loop. If you are having the condition, if you're having a condition on which you want to stop the loop, you have to go with while loop. If you have the lapse or how many times you want your loop to run, you have to go with for loop. That's simple, right? Now you need to tell the interpreter that you are going to use a loop. Like which kind of loop you are going to use? We are going to start with for loop. So we have a keyword as for. This for keyword will going to tell the interpreter that we are going to use the for loop, right? So I'm going to write a statement as for I in range 10 print hello world. Now over here, whenever you use for loop, you have to define how many times the loop should run. So over here, you can see we are using a range function. Range is also a function. What exactly this range function will going to do? It will going to contain all the values that follows between a certain range, right? If I say I want to purchase a mobile phone and my range is somewhere between 10k to 30k, what exactly does this mean? If I say this statement that uh, I want to purchase a mobile phone that is between 10k to 30k, right? What exactly does this mean? That my range or my budget is between these. That means any phone that falls between this point, that is the starting point and ending point, I can easily purchase this. If a phone is of like 25k, I can purchase this because it is falling under my budget, right? But if suppose a phone comes up of 50k, I cannot purchase this because this is out of my budget, right? Similarly, range function is this where you have the starting point and ending point, right? If you're not defining the starting point, by default, it will going to take the starting point as 0. If you're going to take the starting point as 0, so over here the starting point is 0 and ending point is 10. That means anything that falls between 0 to 10, we are going to consider the range. We are easily going to consider those values. Okay, now when we say For I, over here I is a variable. Over here I is a variable. You can give this variable name any of the name that you want to do. When we say I in range, that means the first value we're going to assign to the variable I, that is your 0. Then on the first occurrence your statement will going to get printed. When interpreter comes to the last, and again it will going to go to the for loop and check is there any other loop to go. Then it will going to check with the new value, that will be your 1, and so on, and so it will going to repeat itself. So now if you are going to run this, you can see hello world has been repeated 10 times. Hello world has been repeated 10 times, right? So over here you are telling the interpreter that how many times you have to run. That's why we are using the for loop. In the case of while loop, let's consider a situation 10. This is a variable we are defining that is having the value as 10. Now I am saying over here that while, because we are using the while loop, okay, so we have to tell the interpreter that we are going to use the while loop. I'm going to say while count is less than 10, while not 10, let's say 100. What you will going to do, you will going to print hello world. Let me do this 10 only, and let this to be 0. So now what will going to happen, this is the condition, this is a condition, right? And this statement will only going to get run if this condition is true. Now the value of count is 0. When the interpreter will going to start, it will going to check that count value is less than 10. Is this statement true or false? Is this statement true or false? Is this statement true or false? Come on guys, tell me. Come on guys, is this statement true or false? It is true, right? So that means this statement will going to occur. On the first occurrence, it will going to print hello world. Again, the same thing happen. Interpreter will going to come up and will going to check whether this statement is true and false. It will going to say that again it is true. Then it will going to print the statement. It will going to go on and on and on and on. So this is the representation of an infinite loop. This is an interpretation of an infinite loop. Now see, interpreter is still working, and we have so many hello world that has been printed over here, and it gets printed and printed and printed, and you can see interpreter is still working on. Is this clear? Is this clear? Right? So over here we are not defining that how many times you have to run. We are defining the condition that when this condition becomes false, then only stop. Otherwise, go on and on and on. So let me stop this. Otherwise, it will going to consume the whole memory. Right? Now, taking the same example, let me say this, and let me say count is equals to count plus 1. So now what do you think that how many times this loop will going to run? Now what do you think how many times this loop will going to run? Anyone? 10 times? Okay, so let's run this. Sorry, let me run this one first. The value of count to be 0. Okay, so now let's run this. Now you can see 10 times the value of count has been printed, right? Because we are changing and we are making a change in the value of count as well. We are saying that when you print this, when this statement occurs, now change the value, now provide the new value of the count variable that was initially as 0 and increment it by 1. So what will going to happen? Earlier the value of count is 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So the new value of count will be 1, right? And again it will going to become 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. And as soon as the value of count become 10, right, we know that no number is greater than or lesser than itself. So that means the this statement will going to become false, and as soon as this statement become false, our loop will going to stop, right? And now a question for you guys, that now you tell me, in this situation, is Dr. Strange is using for loop or while loop? Come on, tell me. Is Dr. Strange is using for loop or while loop? Come on, tell me. Is it a for loop or is it a while loop? It's a while loop, exactly, guys. It's a while loop, guys. Because over here, Doctor Strange has provided a condition that unless and until Dormammu agrees to bargain, I am going to repeat myself over and over and over and again. That was an infinite loop, and Doctor Strange has said that I can do this whole day. He has copied this dialogue from Captain America and says I can do this whole day, right? With the same condition. So that's the wrap of the loop. That's a wrap of the loop, and that's a wrap of Python itself. But this is not only thing about Python. Python has a lot of more concepts. Due to the time constraint, we have to stop here only for Python. There's one more concept of the functions. We are going to talk about that in Flask series. From tomorrow, we are going to start with machine learning. We are going to understand about the machine learning. We are going to see how exactly it has been used and where to use that, right? And we are going to also talk about one of the model or one of the algorithm of a machine learning, and day after we are going to talk about the practical implementation of that model, and then we are going to move towards the deployment part. Is this clear, everyone? Is this clear, everyone? Yes or no? Is this clear, everyone? Yes or no? The library for machine learning that we are going to use will be your scikit-learn. Okay, sklearn or scikit-learn. Perfect. So that's the wrap of this entire session. That's the wrap of this entire session. So the moment you guys are waiting for, here's your attendance for day 3. Let me post this over here. Here you go. Okay, don't forget to mark your attendance. Otherwise, you know that you need to perform 2 criteria in order to get a certificate. Okay, among which one is your attendance. Okay. If you guys have any doubt, kindly ask. The attendance link has been pinged on the top of that your chat section. Kindly refer to that link, please. Okay. Anything else? Any doubts? If you guys have any doubts, kindly tell me, please. It was a while loop. We don't have any concept as do while in Python. Okay. See, if you ask me, I suggest you to kindly take an experience uh, after your course and then go for masters. That will going to help you a lot. Okay, but it's totally up to you. It's totally up to your choice. How do you have to go on? We cannot extend the class. The reason being is people are more concerned about attendance rather than being the content. So I believe 1 hour is sufficient for the learning purpose, right? Any more doubts? Any more doubts? We only have 2 loops in Python. That is your for loop and while loop. We don't have any other such loop. Okay. Attendance for day 2 has been closed. If you guys have any more doubts, kindly type on the chat section, please. Okay. In that case, I believe if you guys don't have any more doubts, we can wrap this up. See, dictionary is just like the normal dictionary that we use in a real life, right? So in a dictionary, you will going to find the pattern as your word and then followed by a meaning. And these words are being arranged in an order, in an alphabetical order, right? So similar thing has been followed in the Python as well. And duplicacy is not been allowed because you cannot find the same word having different meaning repeated itself, right? So that's the thing about dictionary in Python as well. We don't have arrays in Python. Instead we have list, right? Instead we have list in Python. Okay, that contains heterogeneous data. Yes, it is useful to take masters in data science, but I would suggest you to kindly have some experience to do so, because even though after doing your masters you will going to go for a job, right? And data science job, because it is an emerging field, it has not been emerged yet. It is an emerging field, so it will going to require a lot of experience as well. So I would suggest you to kindly gain an experience first and then head towards your masters. Okay. Otherwise, it's totally up to you what you want to go ahead. What is the difference between if and while? See, if is a conditional statement, whereas your while is your loop. Okay, perfect. Anything else? Any more doubts? Yes, we do have NumPy arrays as well. All the resources that we are using for this bootcamp, I will be sharing this to you on the last day. Okay, all the Jamboard and the Google Colab link, I will be sharing with you on the last day. Yes, we can use the break. We do have break, we do have pass, we have continue in Python. We can use that as well. We do have that. Any more doubts? Any more doubts? What is the most used programming language in the field of data analytics? It is Python. It is R. Python and R are the most used programming languages in the field of data analytics. Any idea about TensorFlow in Python? So TensorFlow is a part of deep learning. Whenever you are heading toward deep learning, then you can use TensorFlow. TensorFlow is a library that has been provided by Google, and it's a part whenever you are working with deep learning, you have to go with TensorFlow. Okay. Any more doubts? Already told you we don't have arrays in Python. Instead, we have list in Python, and we have NumPy arrays in Python. Okay. How will the data science related interviews, will there be coding round as well? Yes, definitely. There will be coding round, but for the data science interview, theoretical will be given more weightage as compared to the practical ones, because in Python, doing practical is a piece of cake, right? So that's why theoretical part has been given more weightage. Binary classification is a format in which you have to classify two things, right? Binary means two, right? Let's suppose you give an image of a dog or cat. Your model has to differentiate whether that image is for a dog or is for a cat, right? So when you have only two entities, it is known as a binary classification. When you have more than two entities, you have multiple classification. Okay. Any more doubts? Any more doubts? TensorFlow is required for deep learning. Okay. I'm a mechanical engineering student. Can I be a data scientist? Yes, you can be. See, the beauty of data scientist is that even though if you don't know coding, if you don't have no engineering degree in something, it's absolutely fine. Data science is the domain which never talks about your degree, which never talks about your coding skills, right? But you should be loving mathematics. Mathematics plays a very vital role in the field of data science. If you know maths, if you can easily do cope with maths, then yes, data science is a field for you. Doesn't matter which field, which in a batch, from where you have done the bachelor, what your degree is, and so on and so forth. Doesn't matter. Data science is for all. Okay. Only the condition will be you should be loving maths. Okay. Any other doubts? Nested loop means a loop inside a loop, right? If you want to just like in the conditional statement, we have nested conditional statement. Whenever you have a loop inside a loop, it will be known as a nested loop, and the disadvantage of nested loop is it will going to increase the complexity. Okay. Any other doubt? So you used where underscore list in previous, but today's lecture you have used where under list underscore where. Yeah, we have changed the variable name. Doesn't matter, right? We have changed. We have created a new variable, and in that we have implemented everything. Anything else? Can you please tell me, will I get the certificate of this bootcamp session? If you are falling under the two criteria, then definitely you will be getting the certificate. That is, your attendance should be 100%, and you should be able to submit the project. Okay, perfect. Suggest me to take either full stack or data science. See, you should never ask anyone else about your career. That's my take, right? It's totally depend upon you. I cannot tell you that go with data science or go with full stack, because I don't know what you guys are capable of, right? You need to have a discussion by yourself, that are you interested in the data science field, or are you interested in making a web application and all that. And according to that, you should take the field. You should never ask anyone that what should I do or which field I should choose, right? It's totally up to you, right, in which you are great and you think that you can easily cope up with. Okay, I hope that answers your question. The process of submitting the project, I will be telling you at the end of this bootcamp session. That means on day 7. Anything else? See, DevTown has a huge course in which you can perform the data science and you can learn about data science and full stack. I will be discussing this about tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But until then, what you can do, you can give out a check to our website, to our course. Let me show you. This is our website and this is our course. We are having multiple course to offer. So over here you can see we have self-paced course, we have the JavaScript, we have the Java and the C++ course, or we have the industrial training program as well, where you can find out for the full stack or data science. Okay, so if you are interested in data science, you can check this entire content. Even though over here you can see all the instructors are from reputed companies and all that, even though I am also an instructor over here, right? So you can check this out if you're interested in this. I will be explaining you each and every aspect about this industrial courses in the upcoming time as well. So let me ping this as well. Those who are interested, they can check this out as well. Okay. I believe we can end this session over here, right? So let's meet tomorrow with our day 4 and we're going to explore some new things. Okay. Till then, have a great time. Enjoy yourself. See you all soon and take care and be safe. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.